If you're in the market for a new espresso machine for your business, a question that might be on your mind is whether you should buy a 2 or a 3 group machine. Let's talk about it. So the group head is one area of the coffee machine where the water is pushed through the grounds. So having one group head means you can only brew one coffee or a double espresso at any one time. Having multiple, whether it's 2 or 3 group heads, allows you to brew more than one coffee at a time, whether it's 2 or 3. So why would you choose either a 2 or a 3 group? Well, the first thing to think about is the cost. Commercial espresso machines are expensive pieces of equipment, and a 3 group has additional heating elements, larger boilers, more materials, so they're usually about 30% more expensive than a 2 group machine. If you are particularly budget constrained, you need to think about whether that extra cost is going to be worth the investment and whether it could be money that's better spent elsewhere, either on different types of additional equipment that will help your baristas in their workflow, or whether making that saving could help you invest in higher quality coffee, or maybe invest more money into your barista training. These are all things to take into consideration. So a 3 group allows you to brew an additional double espresso at the same time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a 3 group is going to be faster at making coffees than a 2 group. And that's because they have the same number of steam wands and hot water taps, and usually it's the milk or the hot water that is the slow part of the workflow. On both 2 groups and 3 groups, you can have 2 baristas working on the same machine at one time. Usually your grinder will be off to one side of the machine. The person on that side will be dealing with the coffee preparation and the espresso, and the person on the other side will be dealing with steaming the milk and pouring the latte art. Giving an additional group head to your espresso barista doesn't necessarily mean that the milk steaming barista is going to be any faster at making coffees. The only caveat there is if you're serving pure espressos or black Americanos. You can obviously serve those a little bit quicker if you have 3 group heads compared to 2. 3 group machines are larger machines, so they do have additional benefits of having larger steam and water boilers, which could give them higher capacity, better performance, and better temperature stability. It also means your baristas have a lot more area to work with. They're usually around 20 or 30 centimeters wider than 2 groups. So that will give your baristas a lot more space to prepare their coffee, and it also gives you extra space on top of your machine to keep your cups warm. 3 group machines also often require a lot more power than 2 group machines, purely because they are bigger and they require more energy to run, especially if you're brewing multiple coffees and steaming milk at the same time. A 3 group does have additional capacity and power than a 2 group. But if you are still using a single boiler machine, then we would definitely recommend investing in a multi-boiler before you take the step between a 2 group and a 3 group. Espresso machines either have one boiler that controls the water and the steam, or they'll have dedicated multiple boilers for each step in that process. Those multi-boilers will have better steam performance and better temperature stability and recovery. And before you make that jump from a 2 group to a 3 group in terms of budget, there are definitely some other things that we might recommend that you invest in. So one great example could be an automated milk steaming system. If you're using a 2 group and your espresso barista can serve 2 double shots at the same time, but then your milk steaming barista can only steam milk for 1 drink at any one time, having an additional milk steaming machine that can automate that process and increase your milk steaming capacity is going to massively increase speed compared to just adding another coffee group head. You can make the argument that a 3 group machine has increased redundancy over a 2 group. If anything goes wrong with one of your group heads, you have that additional group head to give you that insurance, so you can still brew multiple coffees at the same time. However, they are still connected to the same machine. So if something more fundamental like the boiler or the motherboard fails, that is going to completely stop you from serving coffee. So if you're really worried about machines failing and having to stop your service, we would actually recommend stretching your budget a little bit more and having 2 group machines side by side rather than 1 3 group. That will give you ultimate redundancy, so even if one of your machines completely fails, you can still serve coffee and you don't have to turn customers away. The final point is on space and weight. Obviously, a 3 group is going to be a wider and heavier machine than a 2 group. And 2 group machines can already weigh about 50 to 60 kilos, and they are quite large pieces of equipment anyway. So if your countertop isn't that sturdy or you're tight on space, you'll definitely want to consider the lighter of the 2 options. Here at Bridge Coffee Roasters, we are typically recommending 2 group machines instead of 3 group machines. And that is purely down to getting the most value out of our customers' budget. We usually find that allocating that additional budget to an extra grinder or an automated tamper, a pitch rinse, or maybe even a milk steaming machine will give you a lot better returns than an additional group head. And we're always there to support our customers with barista training, which at the end of the day is going to have the biggest impact on speed and workflow. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any more questions, then feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you're looking to invest in a new espresso machine for your business, whether it's a 2 group or a 3 group, or you just want to chat about some coffee advice and what might be best for you, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us at bridgecoffeeroasters.co.uk. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.